85 kilometers of shelves disappear beneath Vatican City, holding nearly 1,200 years of handwritten records that only a small number of qualified scholars are allowed to study each year. Behind thick stone walls, down steep staircases, and through silent corridors where the air stays cool enough to preserve parchment for centuries, one of the world's most guarded collections sits just meters from thousands of tourists who never realize it's there. By the end of this video, you'll know what researchers have actually found inside the Vatican's so-called secret archives, why the biggest discoveries are nothing like the internet claims, and which documents continue to reshape history. The real mystery of the Vatican isn't a hidden chamber beneath the basilica. It's how millions of forgotten pages have quietly rewritten centuries of human history. By the end of this video, you will know exactly why the Vatican's secret archives were misunderstood for generations, what scholars have uncovered inside these vaults, and why some documents are still changing what we know about kings, popes, wars, and the birth of the modern world. For more than 400 years, one phrase has fueled countless conspiracy theories: the Vatican secret archives. The name alone sounded suspicious. Movies imagined hidden tunnels. Novelists invented forbidden gospels. Television specials spoke about sealed rooms beneath ancient stone floors. But the original Latin word secretum never meant mysterious. It meant private, the personal archive of the Pope. That single translation error shaped public imagination for decades, but the truth turned out to be far more complex. The archive was formally established in 1612 by Pope Paul V, although many of its records stretch back to the 8th century. Today, the Vatican Apostolic Archive preserves nearly 85 kilometers, 53 miles of shelving. If every shelf were placed end to end, it would stretch farther than the distance from Manhattan to Princeton. Hidden inside are papal letters, diplomatic treaties, financial records, royal correspondence, trial transcripts, and manuscripts written by thousands of hands over nearly 12 centuries. Yet only a fraction has ever been examined closely, raising one unavoidable question. How many forgotten stories are still waiting inside? Every year, only qualified scholars with approved research projects receive permission to enter. They don't wander through endless corridors searching for secrets. Instead, they request specific documents, and trained archivists retrieve them from climate-controlled storage. No cameras. No casual visitors. No treasure hunts. Each manuscript is treated as a fragile historical witness. Some are written on parchment made from animal skin. Others are sealed with wax that has survived more than 600 years. Many have never been photographed in high resolution because preserving them matters more than displaying them. Even with modern technology, countless pages remain unread simply because no researcher has yet requested them. That meant history wasn't hiding behind locked doors. It was hiding in plain sight. In recent years, the Vatican has continued a slow process of expanding scholarly access to additional historical collections. The most significant opening came in 2020, when Pope Francis authorized researchers to examine the archives of Pope Pius XVI, containing millions of pages related to the years surrounding the Second World War. Historians from universities across Europe, North America, and Israel immediately began examining boxes that had remained closed for decades. Everyone expected answers. Instead, they found even bigger questions. But the official story was about to unravel. For decades, the most popular theory was simple. The Vatican was hiding a single explosive secret. According to countless books, documentaries, and internet forums, somewhere beneath the Vatican sat a sealed room containing proof that could destroy Christianity, rewrite history overnight, or reveal the location of priceless relics. Every few years, a new rumor appeared. Some claimed the Ark of the Covenant was hidden there. Others insisted the true Gospels had been locked away. Some even suggested evidence of extraterrestrial contact or lost civilizations had been sealed beneath the Apostolic Palace. The theory spread because it sounded logical. If the Vatican possessed nearly 1,200 years of documents and restricted access to qualified researchers, surely it must be protecting one earth-shattering revelation. But when historians finally began examining more of the archives, something unexpected happened. The greatest discoveries weren't hidden in a secret underground chamber. They were sitting inside ordinary archival boxes, carefully cataloged, waiting for someone to ask for them. That changed the investigation completely. The first major example came from a document dating to August 1338. Known today as the Shannon Parchment, it records Pope Clement V questioning leaders of the Knights Templar after their arrests. For centuries, many believed the Pope had personally condemned the order as heretics. Yet when Vatican scholar Barbara Frail rediscovered and studied the parchment in 2001, she found something different. The document showed that the Pope had granted absolution to the Templar leaders during the investigation, before political pressure from King Philip IV of France ultimately led to the order's destruction. One forgotten parchment had overturned a belief repeated for hundreds of years. If one document could change medieval history, how many others were waiting? The next surprise reached into one of Europe's most famous royal scandals. Among thousands of diplomatic records lies a parchment stretching nearly 1 meter long. It carries more than 80 wax seals from English nobles supporting King Henry VIII's request that Pope Clement VII annul his marriage to Catherine of Aragon in 1530. This wasn't rumor. It was the original petition that helped trigger England's break from Rome and eventually the English Reformation. History students spend years learning about Henry VIII. Few ever see the actual document that helped ignite the crisis. Then another file emerged from the shelves. The trial records of Galileo Galilei. For generations, people summarized the conflict in a single sentence. The church imprisoned a scientist because he said Earth orbited the sun. The original documents reveal something far more complicated. Interrogations, legal arguments, theological debates, handwritten corrections, and signed testimonies fill hundreds of pages. Rather than a simple clash between science and religion, historians found a political, philosophical, and institutional struggle unfolding line by line. The closer researchers looked, the more human the story became. But one collection opened in the 21st century wasn't about medieval kings or Renaissance scientists. It contained millions of pages that could still reshape how the world judges one of history's darkest wars. The mystery had changed. The question was no longer whether the Vatican possessed hidden secrets. It was whether historians had asked the right questions in the first place, and what they found next reached into the heart of the Second World War.